Hi, I'm Mike Beliveau, and I'm down here in the shop. And as I'm filming this, it's mid-January, and winter has truly, truly got us in its grips. The shooting ranges are covered with snow right now. The air temperature is in the low 20s. That's 20 degrees Fahrenheit, not Celsius. And we've got wind gusts today hitting 40 miles an hour. Just not a day that you want to be outside shooting. So it's really the perfect day to be shooting an air gun right here in the shop. And today we're going to take a look at the most iconic gun of the Wild West, the Colt Single Action Army 45 Colt, the Peacemaker, and the Umarex CO2 pellet and BB firing replicas. So let's take a look at these babies. I'll compare them to the real thing, the real Colts, and we'll shoot them. We'll have a little bit of fun with them. So stay tuned. The Umarex version of the 45 Colt Peacemaker comes in two model types, and we're going to be taking a look at each of them. All right, let's take a look at the spec sheet on the Umarex Colt 45. And then we'll start talking about the gun. So if you want to, you can pause this and read it, and I'm just going to go on. Well, as I said, there are two versions of the Umarex gun. The one with the black grip has a rifled barrel, so it should be more accurate, and it will only shoot the 177 caliber lead pellets. Now, I get a pellet out. These pellets have a hollow base, and so they will expand to fill the rifling. The white gripped gun is exactly the same, except it has an unrifled barrel, and it will shoot either BBs, 177 caliber BBs, or the 177 caliber pellets. And one of the things I'm going to try to see is which one will it shoot more accurately. I'm guessing the pellets, so at this range, it really might not matter at all. So because these guns are the same, I'm just going to use this one for demonstration purposes. So how's it stack up to a real Colt? This is a genuine Colt. Model P or Single Action Army, and of course here's how it works. You would put it on half cock, open the loading gate. I'm going to eject these as an ejector rod. All right. Of course, since these have not been fired, they come out quite easily. What we have inside here are dummy cartridges or snap caps. But basically, the Model P cartridge firing gun loads through the loading gate, just like this. When it's on half cock, full cock locks it up, and you would cock it to fire. Now, you can see that when the gun fires, the hammer is all the way down. We'll talk about that in a minute. But this is a 5-inch barrel gun. The Umarex is also a 5-inch barrel gun. As far as the outer cosmetic barrel goes, I'm going to give you all the stats on this gun in a minute in a chart. But let's take a look at this. The first thing you're going to notice is that the hammer stands off. And that's a function of how it fires. Okay, these are CO2 firing guns. They fire using these CO2 gas cartridges. I'll show you that in a minute. If I pull a trigger, I could push that forward. If the CO2 cartridge was in there, it would just be discharging continuously as long as I hold the hammer down. So that's why the hammer has to be back. It doesn't look the way it should, but you do get used to it pretty quickly. Now, if I didn't want to shoot pellets out of this gun, if I only wanted it as a replica, and believe me, these guns are better replicas than, say, the Denix non-firing replica guns that you can get, and they cost about the same. So rather than having one of those Denix guns, I would probably get one of these and turn it into a non-firing gun if that's what I needed to have, which you can see on the internet how to do that. So there are ways to make this operate exactly like this with the hammer down. But by doing so, it's no longer a firing pellet gun. You've got to remove the actual barrel and make a couple of changes to the spring in here, which are easy to make, but it won't fire anymore. So if you want to fire, you got to put up with the hammer having a little bit of standoff. Okay. So how does this work? Well, once again, you can put it on half cock, and that allows the cylinder to turn, just like on the original. It does have these cartridges. I'll tell you a little bit more about those later, but they will load exactly the same. So simply insert them, and there's a functional ejection lever, just like on the original. Works exactly the same. So you can load these up. I don't have a gas cylinder in here right now, but once again, cock it, bring it to full cock, fire it, and it fires exactly the same. So it's the same size in most particulars. The two differences you're going to notice are the hammer standoff and the grips. Okay, we'll put the grips together and you'll see the difference. These grips are quite a bit larger than these grips. Now, if you're a knowledgeable about single actions, that'll probably stick out to you right away. But these grips are very close to the grips on an 1860 Colt Army revolver. So it's not like you couldn't have found them on an original back at the time. But the reason that these grips are so large compared to the grips on this gun... Oh, I'm going to show you one other thing before I show you the grips, before I put that gun away. So this is a holster for the Colt Single Action Army 5.5 inch barrel. Alright, so that's how it fits. Alright, very nice. And we can put in the Umarex gun, and it fits the holster perfectly. So that gives you an idea of how well sized these are. So if you want to use it with a good holster, you certainly can, and get a real feel for it. You're going to notice a lot of writing on these guns. These aren't as bad as some of the others. So this patent date you would find on the originals. Up here, you would have found the caliber designation on the originals. You wouldn't see the whole Colt Single Action Army. And these guns are licensed by Colt, by the way, so they're allowed to have the Colt logo and Peacemaker and all that good stuff on them. And I don't think Colt would have done it if they weren't happy with them. Now, what you will have is a warning label. There's like a billboard here. And then you've got Colt, which you wouldn't have on the originals. You got the serial number. And you've got the caliber designation, 4.5 millimeter or 0.177 inch pellets. So that's a lot of writing you don't need, but you know, it's not going to be apparent when you shoot it, so I can live with it. So once again, weight wise, it is just a little bit lighter than the original. Not much. I mean, not enough to throw you off. It's still very weighty in the hand. It feels quite good. It's just marginally lighter than the originals. So the longer grip is because of this. Right, this is where the CO2 cartridge goes. And the way that you would insert the CO2 cartridge is really pretty simple. So I'm going to take one of these CO2 cartridges. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of airgun oil on the top of it. That will get into the action and keep things lubricated. So now it goes up in there, and what I'm going to do, the grips have an integral wrench on them. So I'm going to drop it down a little bit, just get it lined up. You can't lose that wrench, that's a good thing, but it's kind of a weak arrangement. I would prefer an actual Allen's head wrench, and you could always use your own metric Allen's head wrenches. So I'm just going to tighten it up until I've got it pierced. Here we go. Okay, so now we're good. And the grips just go on. They go on very securely, but they come on and off quite easily. So now it's live to fire. Put a cotton ball over here. So you can see it's got a pretty good amount of gas that comes out with it. So now the gun is fireable. It's just not loaded. So I'm going to take these shells out of here. Now you'll notice that these shells are silver colored. And I'm going to pull out this guy here, the smoothbore gun, and pull out a shell, and you'll see it's brass colored. All right, so the brass colored shells are for BBs, and the silver colored shells are for pellets. And to load them, it is quite a simple matter. I'll just get 6 of them out here. All right, so at the base of each shell, there's a hole. And you're going to just put the nose of the pellet in that hole and then push it flush with the back. And having done that, it's loaded. We'll just load all of them up, and then we can take this thing and shoot it, see how it does. Well, I used a small cast iron skillet to make a makeshift steel digging target down here in the basement. As you can see, my backstop is a pretty big cardboard box that I've got filled with waste paper. Another feature on these Umarex guns that you won't find on the originals is a safety. So it's a little button right under the frame, and you can see when it's on that white dot, it is safe. I can't cock the gun, I can't fire, I can't do anything with it. You just move it forward. Ow. Move it forward so the red dot is showing. And now we can do whatever we want with it, right? Ready to fire. Okay, let's put the Umarex 45 Colt replicas on paper. Now, I hope you'll forgive me for doing this shooting sitting down, but my right hip really got messed up in the fall last winter, and it's not getting any better. And this winter's weather is really playing hob with it. So I've been on my feet all morning, and I just don't think I can shoot as well standing up right now. And I like to do these guns justice, so I'm going to shoot sitting down. I hope you'll forgive me for that. I'm going to start off with the rifle-barreled 45 Colt, and this is shooting 177 caliber lead pellets right through the rifle barrel. We'll take 6 shots and see how it does. Okay, next we're going to use the smoothbore 45 Colt Umarex replica, and this time we're loaded with the lead pellets. Let's see how we do. Okay, so let's do the smoothbore again with steel BBs. See how we do with those. Okay, they all shot to the left. Now, surprisingly, the best group was with the steel BBs, which is a target all the way on the right. Kind of surprising out of the smoothbore. The worst group was the smoothbore lead pellets. And the rifle barrel shot actually a pretty good group, though not as good as that smoothbore group. But everything is shooting to the left. So that's something to pay attention to when I'm plinking around with them. Well, I hope you enjoyed our look at the Umarex Colt Peacemaker Replica Airgun. I'm certainly having fun with it. And if you enjoyed this, there are 2 more in the series. We'll also be looking at the 1875 Remington and the Smith & Wesson Schofield replicas. So keep your eye on YouTube, and when they pop up, I hope you enjoy them as much as you enjoyed this one. So I'll see you soon. Until then, bye.